So you've been putting in the work, you've been putting in the effort, and you feel like you're not getting any results. I know that because I went from this to this, and all I did was make one change. So before we get started, my name is Coach Charan. I've been a coach and an athlete for as long as I can remember. I've ran in the World Championships. I've beat the US Marines in pull-ups. I've competed and ran in over 50 races. I say that to say this because I'm no stranger to working out, but I was a stranger to not getting results. You see, when you've been working out for so long, you expect results. I became kind of entitled, and I felt like not getting results wasn't in my nature. But I'm human too. And I spent months trying to figure out where I was going wrong. And the change I made wasn't some fancy supplement, fancy equipment, or a change in scenery or a different gym. All I started doing was keeping track of everything I was doing. That's right, all I did was start tracking again. And that's the reason I listed all those sports that I was doing, is because I went down the realm of thinking that I could just move and do things that I used to do, when in reality, you can't. Your body changes, you age, your intentions change in why you're moving or doing certain things. And as a result, you still need to track, in my opinion. But oftentimes, it's not so much what we're doing, it's almost we can see what we're not doing. And I get it. It's the new year, new me, new resolutions. Now is probably the easiest time for people to fall off. And that's the reason why I'm posting this at the end of January, is because now is the time where most people start to feel like, I've been working out for 3 weeks, I've been working out for 2 months, and I'm not getting any results. Now here's the thing, when you track, as a beginner, it gives you a roadmap, right? It gives you a purpose. And one of my old mentors told me, if you don't have a plan, you don't have a purpose. And if you don't have a purpose, then there's no point. And I'm gonna get into what I was tracking and how I was tracking later on in the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Now, when you track, the key thing is you know exactly what you did last time, and you know exactly what to do now. And oftentimes when you in your fitness journey, I'm gonna talk about this in the fitness realm because that's the realm that I come from, and that's the results that I've gotten using the tracking system that I'm about to show you guys. So we'll stay in the realm of that. But that being said, you can track your sleep, you can track your habits, you can track your finances, you can track your movement, you can track the way you think, you can track your stress levels, your nutrition. You can literally track anything and everything, your activity, your consumption, your reading. So take everything I'm saying with a pinch of salt and apply it to where you feel you're lacking or where you need that tracking, or track everything. In my opinion, I think you should track everything, all right? And like I'm about to show you guys, I tracked everything, and it really did play a massive part in me going from this to this. But also with this transformation, if you want to call it that, the key things that change are not just the physical. It's a lot up here that change, and it's a lot about your habits that change. It's about your actions you take, the choices you make, because every choice you make is a byproduct of your thoughts, right? So what's dictating your thoughts, right? Is it actionable items, or is it key metrics that are, you see where you're lacking and where you're progressing, where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, right? And that for me, that was the clear indicator, right? Now, going back to fitness, when you write things down as a beginner, if you're a beginner and you're getting back into the gym, or you're starting the gym and you feel like you're not getting any results, the key thing is when you start writing down your reps, when you start writing down your sets, you hold yourself accountable for when you are not improving. It's there, it's in black and white. I'm doing this, it's not working, I can change it. Or I'm doing this, it's working, I should continue. One of the most crucial things when it comes to tracking is allowing yourself to sit and look at what you've done, right? Because that is where you can start seeing the gaps. That is where you can start seeing that, okay, even if you make a 0.01% change, that change is still change, right? Oftentimes, real change takes a really long time. But when you're seeing change in a macro amount of time and it's a really small change, just think about the compounding interest in change and growth and transformation that will happen over time. Like, you might not feel like you want to, you might feel as though it's boring. Even the workouts that aren't good, track them anyway, right? Because you can see that, okay, why did I not have a good workout there? Because maybe it's because I only had 4 hours of sleep, or maybe it's because I'm lacking in my nutrition and my water. You can start piecing things together. Now, before I started tracking, it's not as if my workouts were random. I was still following the structure. I was still following my programming. For me personally, and again, this is why I mentioned all the sports that I do. For me, it was about auditing my time. It was about reducing any redundant movements. It was about taking a look at where I'm not progressing and literally figuring out like what exercises are working, what habits am I doubling down on, what habits can I decrease, right? Because oftentimes we always focus on the increase in water, increase in workouts, increase in movement, increase in steps. But, Bruce Lee once said, oftentimes progress is about the daily decrease. And he used an ice sculpture as an example. When a sculptor gets his ice, he chips away at what he doesn't need to reveal the structure and the art that's underneath. But he sees it first. He sees what he wants and he chips away at the unnecessary. So with the tracking, for me personally, it was about decreasing in certain places and auditing my time and getting rid of redundant movements, right? I often found that I was doing a movement that was so unnecessary, or I was doing too much of one thing, and it was decreasing my performance elsewhere, and would lead to me feeling burnt out, which would lead to me sleeping more, which would lead to me reducing my water intake. It was a cycle effect, right? So sometimes chipping away at what we don't need often reveals what we should be doing and what is working. And something I used to always tell my clients is, think about going grocery shopping, right? You go to Walmart or you go to your grocery store, you don't need to go in every aisle. You don't need to buy everything. You go there, you get what you need, and you leave. Some people are shopping for themselves. Some people are shopping for their family of 6, right? Some people are shopping for a week. Some people are grocery shopping for a month. Or some people are just shopping to get one thing that they need in the next hour. It's different for different people, right? And the same applies for whatever it is you're tracking, but we're using fitness, right? So when you go to the gym, you don't need to do everything, all right? Beginners, oftentimes, especially this time of year, New Year's, new me, they go to the gym, they feel like they can do cardio and weights and they hit full body and they think that they can do that every day. And obviously, people want changes right away, so they go to the gym 7 days a week, 6 days a week. Then that turns into 5, then that turns into 4, then that turns into 3, and then they stop going for the whole year, right? We need to figure out what's sustainable. And when we start tracking, for me anyway, when I started tracking, I was able to find what was sustainable. Okay, so without wasting any more of your time, I'm gonna show you guys the way I track. Now, oftentimes people ask me, what app do you use? What application do you use? What software do you use? How are you tracking? Are you just slapping everything down into a notepad? Or, no, this is what I've used. Let me tell you, I've used apps. I've used second brain platforms that I wasted money on. I've used Notes. I've used Notion. I've used, as a disciple of self-development, I've literally used whatever you can think of when it comes to tracking, when it comes to all this kind of stuff. And I feel as though this has been the best thing I could do. Now, let me get a book for you. Actually, I got 2 books. Warrior Wisdom Volume 3, dropping really soon. This is my 3rd book. If you want my 2nd book or my 1st book, I'll leave a link above or in the bio. Now, the book I went to get is this, The Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll. This was a game changer for me, and the way I track is a mixture of Ryder Carroll's philosophy as well as some I've made myself. Also just a hybrid of other things too. Now, if you look there, it says, track the past, Track the past, order the present, and design the future. I'm gonna say that again. Track the past, order the present, and design the future. Like, if that doesn't hit home, I don't know. Anyways, highly recommend this. So now, going into it, I use manual method. For me, it's the best way. I can keep it with me when I'm in the gym, when I'm in, when I'm anywhere I go, I can just keep this with me. Because it just does so much more than what an app can do. I'm gonna just flick through it because obviously there's personal things in here, but I like to have a calendar to showcase my month. I like to have a gratitude for the entire month, my life wins. I like to have productivity wins and physical wins. This is on a daily basis, right? So I like to put the numbers down the side as well as, the title, and then each day I just fill this out. Now, this dot journal for the habits, I'm going to show you this month. As you can see, I went from it being each page to like condensing and doing all 4 lists into one page. Became so much better. Now, this is a crucial page for me. This is the bread and the butter. So what I do is I like to have the habits that I'm going to work on the left, and I have dots. Now, it looks kind of confusing, but let me break it down to you. Number 1 is the first of the month. Number 2 is the second of the month, all the way across the whole month. I put a dot when I do the habit. So on the first, I read. On the second, I read. On the third, I read, all the way across. Now, working out, work out. You can see where I started to miss workouts, right? Caffeine intake, no alcohol, editing videos, shooting videos, posting on YouTube. This is just my daily habits. Now, it's not going to be full, right? The line indicates where I started. That's where it started for the month because I added that one in. Now, the key thing with this is it allows you to see the gaps where you're starting to mess up, where you're starting to skip things. And you can relate that to this, right? They're not always connected, but to some degree they are. Now, I have another month and I have a rating system from 1 to 10. Now, the way that looks is I have sleep, workouts, and stress, okay? 1 being low, 10 being high for stress. So what I do, I've indicated them in different ways. So sleep is the line, working out is the dash, and stress is the dots. It's actually quite simple. I know it looks complicated, but it's actually incredibly simple. So the dots indicate my stress levels. So if you notice on the 5th, I had an extremely stressful day. As a result, I did not work out. If you notice, I did not work out. I did all the others, but I didn't get my 2 liters of water in. I didn't write. I didn't actually sleep early either. So you can start to link things together, right? If you notice, this high stress level actually played a huge part in my workout on the 8th because my energy levels start to decrease, right? And you can kind of link this together. It's not always linked, but it's a way of indicating things together, right? Let's look at this month. Boom, I had one incredibly bad sleeping day. There was a mosquito and it was bothering me all night. But again, these are the same. I've maybe changed a few things in here, but overarchingly, it's the same. I've been working out, my reading has been slackened, my sleeping early, posting on YouTube has been slackened. You're able to see this, right? Same with the stress, the workouts, and this month, this is this month. If you look, I've had a great sleep and I've had great workouts. Across the board, my workouts have been 8, 9, and 10. Now going back to the ticks, if you notice the ticks in the calendar, what I did for this month was instead of using 2 pages for the entire calendar, I used just 1. And I got my to-do list and I got my wins. Now this is morning, afternoon, and evening. That's what the 3 ticks stand for. Now, I believe that you're allowed to have a bad morning and still win the day. You're allowed to have a bad, or not even bad, you're allowed to lose 1 quarter. So what I did was I separated the day into 3 quarters, right? Morning, whenever you wake up, till 12. If you wake up at 9, then it's 9 to 12. If you wake up at 5 or 6, like I do, then it's till 12, right? You do something to win the morning. You do something productive, or you experience something amazing. You win the morning. Then the afternoon is 12 to 5. You got to win the afternoon. And then the evening is from 5 onwards to whenever you sleep, which is whenever it may be. Whether if you go to sleep at 2, if you go to sleep at 10, if you go to sleep at 7, it doesn't matter. It's from 5 until you sleep. Now, what I like to do is when you win, you put a tick. When you win the afternoon, you put a tick. If you lose one, you put a cross. And you have to be honest with yourself, right? And this only works when you're honest with yourself. Now, 31 days in a month, I start to tally them up at the end, and I see where I'm performing the best. What am I winning? Where am I losing, right? So now, if we go back to last month's, if you notice, I had 25 wins out of 31 mornings. I had 29 wins out of 31 afternoons, and I had 16 wins out of 31. So I made a little podium. Afternoons I was winning more afternoons than I was mornings, and I was winning more mornings than I was evenings. So then that just tells me evenings is where I'm losing it. Evenings is where I'm losing too many evenings, right? So this is a great way to track your day. And I know I started this video off as how I got from this to this. Last time I'm going to show you. But really and truly, this is how I got from this to this. Because it's not just about the workouts. It's about your whole day, right? Because so much can influence the workout. And it only takes a couple of bad workouts for beginners to be like, I'm done. I don't want to go back. Because a lot happens outside the gym that influences how you perform in the gym, right? So this is what I do. I like to have my wins and losses. I like to track my stress levels and my workouts and my sleep. I like to track my habits. I have my to-do list. And the last thing that I have is something called a prosperity, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Prosperity diamond. Prosperity diamond. I think I said that right. Now, this is something I created. It's very similar to what I think Ali Abdaal does for the Wheel of Life. But what I've done is I've made 4 quadrants. So health, wealth, relationships, and happiness, right? And now at the start of the month, you rank from out of 0 to 10, going up in 2s, right? So 6, 4, 4, and 4. December wasn't that great. And at the end, you rank it again. So you also put an increase. So my health went up by 4 points. My wealth stayed the same, nothing changed. My relationships went up. That's not just your relationship, but that's your relationship with yourself, your family, with other people, your social cup, basically. And then overall happiness, right? My happiness was good, but it's gone up by 2 points. So overarchingly, my entire month was a success because I gained 8 points on the Prosperity Diamond. So now let's go into the workouts. The workouts I keep incredibly simple. I put the day, I put the time, and I put what I did, and then I have the workout. It's very old school, it's very analog, it's very basic, but I'm able to see now, it's not just about tracking what you're doing, it's about linking it to the rest of your day, your life, seeing that, okay, I didn't have a bad workout, why? Did I need to take a day off, so on and so forth, right? But what I like to do is I put my sets, I put my reps, and I include the weight. All right, so first set 60 kg for 10. Then this day I did 65 kg for 10. Set number 2, 80, 85. Set number 3, I did 100 for 2. I did 100 for 2. 4, the fourth set was 90 for 3. This was 70 for 10. And then the fifth set was 70 for 10. This one 70 to fail, right? So I'm able to see that the first and the second set, I was able to increase by 5 kg, which is a lot, right? And so on and so forth. So you're able to cross-reference, right? Now, a new system that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting post-it notes to show, like a pink, blue, yellow to show, so I can cross-reference workouts super quick. Now, what I've also started to do recently, people might see this and be like, this is so long-winded, but it works, trust me. I'm going to be putting a lot of this, although this is analog, this is great, and I'm never going to stop doing this. I'm going to actually be inputting this into a digital system. This is just an extra step. You don't need to do this. It's so that it can automate and give me pie charts and charts of like my increase and decrease. But you don't jump into that without having done this. You know, don't focus on step 8, focus on step 1 first, which is getting it down on paper, pen and paper, super simple. Now I understand that people might not want to carry this in the gym, so put it in your notes if you have to, and then write it out later, but track. You know, digital might be for some, analog might be for others, but make sure you track. Now for me, the moment I started tracking everything changed for me, right? I was able to audit my movements. I was able to reduce my workout time. I was able to switch up and change my habits, knowing that I read every day. I don't need to track that, take it out the habits list. It's gonna happen regardless. So my habits on a month-to-month basis, I like to keep the same, but I'll add 2 or 3 in that I know I'm lacking on and work on them. Make sure that they are getting full dots for the whole month before I move on to something else. I could see, you know, my strength improving. I could see my lifts going up. I could see my physique changing. I could see my energy levels increasing. I could see my need for sleep occurring, so my sleep patterns were better. I didn't need pre-workout. I didn't need coffee. I didn't need any type of caffeine before my workouts because I was able to track that. Okay, my sleep is being affected because I'm consuming way too much caffeine and not enough water, right? Yeah, the workouts are helping, but so on and so forth. Now, for most people, they're gonna start tracking and it's gonna feel boring, but what I want you guys to really know is that the results are not instant. Right? You're not going to get data instantly. It compounds over time, and that is the crucial thing, because when you're not tracking your workouts, you're not going to get data. You're not going to be able to change, right? So start tracking for a month. Like if you're not tracking your workouts yet and you're not getting results, I urge you start today, because it's the easiest thing to do and it's the cheapest thing to do. It costs nothing. Like, so instead of getting a new trainer, signing up for a new program, changing your gym, start by just being accountable for what you're doing, right? It's free and it costs nothing. All it takes is a little bit of effort. And a lot of people don't track because it's almost like number one, they don't realize the importance of it, but also number two, people don't track because of fear of seeing like tangible evidence of like, I'm not doing enough, or I'm doing too much, or this is where I'm messing up, right? As humans, we don't like to be told where we're messing up or that we're messing up. So my thing is this: start tracking, start for a month, because I promise you guys, you'll see results. If you track, how about this? If you've made it this far in the video, I want you guys to track for 2 months. If you do not get no results for 2 months, I will train you for an entire month for free. All right, I'll say that again. If you track your workouts for 2 months and you get no results, not even a 0.01% result, I will create a custom workout for you and train you and check in with you for an entire month. All right, so try it out. Try it for a month, try it for 2 months. Let me know the differences you guys make, because trust me when I say, like, it will transform your life like it transformed mine. Okay, I hope you guys like this video. Until the next one, peace.